And from the Government Procurement Policy Board, Technical Support Office, we have Mr. J. Mar Baring, Procurement Management Officer 4. And we have Mr. Gerard San Victores, the National President, together with Attorney Aristeo Cruz, Committee Chair, Legislation, Articles and Bylaws of the Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountants. That's all for the moment, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Comsec Day. As chairman of the committee, I am deeply honored to welcome everyone and preside over this meeting, and at the same time, feel excited that we are now officially starting our legislative work. Allow me to express my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to all of you who have responded positively to our notices and invitations. Of course, to our committee secretariat for doing well with the staff work. Today, this 20th Congress marks the formal beginning of our collective responsibility to deliberate thoroughly and expeditiously the committee's legislative agenda to meet its deadline. The work of this committee is vital. With the recent turn of events, it is incumbent upon us, members of Congress, that these laws creating government agencies shall serve its intended purpose effectively, eliminates redundancy, and more importantly, maximizes public resources. I trust that through our shared commitment and collaboration, with the knowledge, expertise, and insights from our resource persons, we can craft meaningful laws. I therefore enjoin every member of this committee, and together with our partners in the executive branch and other stakeholders, to join me in this journey as we legislate this most pressing law that will address the government's resolve and commitment to be honest service and responsible stewardship of public resources. Thank you, and may our deliberations today bring us closer in shaping a sound and effective law to transition the anti-corruption mandate from a transitory executive policy for never to change, armed with the necessary independence and statutory authority to effectively prosecute and deter corruption across all levels of government involved in infrastructure projects. Maraming salamat po. I recognize the Honorable Madam Leila M. De Lima of the Mamayang Liberal. Thank you, ma'am. The first part of this meeting, the Secretariat has prepared organizational briefing kits containing the committee's mandate, membership, proposed internal rules of procedure that we are going to adopt for the 20th Congress, the committee referral, and the committee fact book containing information about the Committee on Government Reorganization, its accomplishments, and many more. Copies of the organizational kits were earlier distributed to the committee members. The proposed file of the internal rules of procedure was emailed to each member as you read the reference. Let us now consider the principles and the rules that will govern the direction and action of the committee. Do I hear a motion to approve the proposed internal rules of procedure for the 20th Congress, unless you have some comments, amendments, or inclusions?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the internal rules for this committee.
And it has been moved and seconded that the proposed internal rules of procedure for the 20th Congress hereby approved. May I direct the committee secretary to include the same? Do I hear a motion to include also the comments, the amendments, and the inclusions raised by the members? There's none. Motion is approved. motion duly seconded, the internal rules and procedure of the Committee on the 20th Congress is hereby approved. May I take this opportunity to inform everyone that last Monday, October 3, 2025, this committee convened a technical briefing in a hybrid format regarding the proposed establishment of the Independent Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption as delineated in House Bills numbers 4453 and 5699. Several members, authors, and resource persons actively engaged in discourse with the resource persons. Notably present in person were Congressmen Irice, Indanya, and Fernando, Matong, and Marcoleta, while those who participated remotely via Zoom, including Honorable Laila de Lima, Congressman Presidente, among others. The ICI, AMLA, Ombudsman, DOJ, DBM, and COA articulated your overarching perspectives and preliminary observations in the two bills and engaged with the members and authors. During this meeting, significant issues were raised, such as empowering the proposed Independent Commission against infrastructure corruption with authorities pertaining to compulsory processes, citation for contempt, issuance of hold departure orders, HDO, and watchlist orders, WLO, as well as provision of personnel and budgetary allocations for the Independent Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption in the General Appropriations Act, the GEA. For purposes of expediency, let us now proceed to the second part of the meeting. The second segment of the meeting, let's now proceed to the discussion of the Independent Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption bills. House Bill number 4453, titled An Act Establishing an Independent Commission to Investigate the Mass Appropriation of Funds for Flood Control and other infrastructure projects, in doing it extensive investigative and subpoena powers, providing for a secretariat and for other purposes, authored by Representatives Honorable Laila M. de Lima, Adrian Michael Amatong, Arlene Kakadje Bago, Principal B. Sandanya, Jose Manuel Tadeo Chel Jokno, Edgar R. Irice, Jaime R. Presnedi, Dada Kiram Ismula, Celo Cristel Magman, Paulo Henry Marcoleta, Elijah San Fernando, and Alfonso V. Umali Jr. And House Bill number 5699, titled An Act Establishing the Independent Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption, authored by Representative Tobias Toby M. Chanco. But before we proceed, may I invite the authors of the Independent Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption bills to deliver your brief sponsorship remarks on the bills. May I ask Honorable Lima, one of the principal authors, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, members of this committee, the honorable co-authors of House Bill 4453 and the author of the other House Bill 5569, the honorable, the esteemed resource persons in today's committee hearing. Magandang hapon po. First, I wish to adopt what was expressed in the explanatory note of House Bill 4453. I happen to be the lead author of the bill with 12 other authors. Let me further express these remarks. Once again, our nation finds itself drowning, both literally and figuratively. In the past weeks alone, Typhoons Tino and Super Typhoon Uwan have ravaged large parts of our country, bringing with them torrential rains and flash floods that have killed hundreds and displaced thousands of families while destroying billions worth of properties. In Cebu and Negros Island regions, massive flooding,
submerge entire communities, paralyzing local economies, destroying roads, bridges, livelihoods, and homes, some of which were supposedly protected by flood control projects that have now failed when they were needed most. These disasters have laid bare not only our vulnerability to climate events, but also the devastating consequences of corruption. Mr. Chair, billions of pesos, hard-earned taxpayers' money have been lost, not to the forces of nature, but to the ravages of greed. During the Senate budget briefing with the Development Budget Coordination Committee last September 2, 2025, the Honorable Finance Secretary Ralph Recto revealed that the Philippine economy may have lost between 42.3 billion and 118.5 billion in just the past 2 years due to corruption in flood control projects. These funds could have been spent on meaningful services and programs that should have benefited Filipinos and contributed to economic growth, but were instead lost to corruption. Mr. Chair, we are facing the biggest corruption scandal in the history of our country. We are in a moral crisis, one that is literally costing lives. Sa malubhang epekto ng dalawang bagyong yon, Tino at Tauan, nagtatanong ang taong bayan, where did the billions in flood control funds go? The answers point to one truth: corruption kills. It kills through neglect, incompetence, and greed. While our people are wading through murky floodwaters, corruption continues to flow freely through our bureaucracy. This is why this representation, along with our co-authors, are proposing or have proposed House Bill number 4453 on the creation of an independent commission against infrastructure corruption, or ICAIC, that will thoroughly investigate corruption in flood control and other government infrastructure projects. The commission will, among others, be empowered to conduct independent and comprehensive investigations into anomalies in infrastructure spending, recommend prosecution and file cases, both administrative and criminal, against erring officials and private entities, and propose systemic reforms in procurement, auditing, and project monitoring to ensure this does not happen again. Mr. Chair, pagamat nakikita natin na may pag-usad ang mga kasalukuyang investigasyon ng ICI, under Executive Order 94, kulang na kulang pa po ito. Given the magnitude of its task, the ICI must be strengthened. It must have the power to cite in contempt. It should be provided with sufficient manpower, and it should be given adequate budgetary support, among other improvements that both bills, House Bill 4453 and 556, wish to address or wish to provide. Napakahalaga ng isang institusyon na nag-iimbestiga sa ganito kalawak na katiwalian at kalaking sindikato sa gobyerno at pribadong sektor ay may sapat na kapangyarihan at resources para matupad ang kanyang mandato. We therefore call on our colleagues in the House to swiftly pass this bill while strongly urging the President to certify this measure as urgent. Our people are asking for justice. Let us give them that justice through accountability, transparency, and truth. Let us not squander a moment more. Kagyat po dapat na isabatas ang House Bill 4453. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable De Lima, for your insights and initiative in establishing the Independent Commission against Infrastructure Commission. May I ask Congressman Yokno for a remark? Comment, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, honorable members of the committee, and team guests. I respectfully concur and adopt the comments of Congresswoman De Lima. May I just emphasize the urgency of acting on these House bills so that we can give more teeth to the Independent Commission. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you po, Honorable Yokno, for your insightful perspective on the bill. May I recognize Congressman Eresi?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Iyayanig po, tumulumog nag-aapoy ang buong bayan. Hindi dahil sa mga lindol, bagyo o sunog, kundi dahil dito sa malalim na kinakaharap nating krisis. Our nation now is in deep crisis. We should not be in denial of that. We must realize that we are facing a political, not only political, but economic and moral collapse. Niyayanig tayo ng kabi-kabilang istorya, hindi matapos-tapos, ng korupsyon. Hindi milyon, hindi bilyon, kundi bilyon-bilyon, umaabot na ng trilyon. The President has created an ICI through EO 94. Investigate and prosecute corruption in infrastructure. Pero kita po natin sa mga nagdaang 100 araw, kulang na pulang po ang kanilang kapangyarihan. The President BBM established the ICI, but it's obvious that its powers cannot withstand the influence and manipulations of his closest allies who benefited from this infrastructure corruption. The ICI must not be the instrument of Malacanang. Instead, it should be the spear and shield of the people against the corrupt. Madaling gawin ito ng institusyon ng Kongreso upang ibangon ang ating puri. Kung gugustuhin natin, kailangan madali po nating maipasa ito. Bakit kailangan? Isa batas ito. Legal mandate po ng ICI, limitado. Limitado sa executive department. At walang magagawa, lalo na kung involved ay ang Kongreso, ang mga pribadong mamamayan. Wala po itong subpoena and contempt powers. Mahalaga, sa pondo po, dependent sa presidente. At yung mga top po nila, walang kasiguruhan. Credibility is perceived as a palace instrument. Kailangan din po nila ng Financial and Forensic Audit Authority para maimbestigahan po nila yung bank records through the AMLAC, mga ledgers po ng mga contractors, mga variation orders, subcontract agreements sa DPWH ng mga contractors. Na kailangan din po nila na ma-access ng madalian upang hindi masunog o mawala yung mga records ng iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno sa ating bansa. At kailangan po nila ng authority to freeze further payments or flag anomalous projects. Kailangan din po nila na mabigyan ng sapat na proteksyon yung magiging witness ng ICI. Kailangan din po maliwanag sa batas na ito public disclosure at transparency ng ICI. Inumungkahi ko rin po na kulang sa kaalaman, lalo na pagdating po sa legislatura, yung present composition of the ICI. There must be someone from the legislative department, at least mga retired na senador o retired na congressman, upang sa ganun po ay mag-guide yung ICI sa proseso ng legislation at budget authorization sa Kongreso. Salamat po.
Thank you, Congressman Irishi. Before we proceed, we like to acknowledge the presence of Congressman Timothy Joseph Cayton from the Lone District of Nueva Vizcaya. Thank you for coming.
Mr.
Anybody?
Chair. are making it really independent because the powers derived not by executive order but by the law passed by Congress. And besides, Mr. Chair, with the passage of a law creating this ICI, will be giving them the necessary funding for this ICI to be effective and successful in its mission in the investigation of the corruption in infrastructure projects. For this purpose, Mr. Chair, I respectfully urge the support of this August Chamber for the swift passage of House Bill number 4453. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Presidente. Any other author of House Bill 4453? Congressman Marcoleta, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I be allowed to deliver my sponsorship remarks? Thank you, Mr. Chair. In more than 3 months since the issue on ghost flood control projects made national news, it bears recognizing that substantial milestones have come up from all our legislative hearings and briefings. For one, we have encouraged a more meticulous scrutiny of the items for the 2026 General Appropriations Act. Another is that many pieces of information on corruption and on the thievery of the people's funds among fellow public officials have been revealed to the public. However, what has been done to and with these pieces of information so far remains to be seen. As of November 4, 2025, the Independent Commission for Infrastructure has made 4 recommendations to the Ombudsman for the investigation of anomalous projects. The proceedings that resulted in these 4 recommendations have been kept private, leaving the public in the dark as to the whole process. Noong mga nakaraang linggo po, sabi po ng ICI ay isa sa publiko po nila ang kanilang mga hearings, pero magpahanggang sa ngayon ay wala pa rin pong hearing na nasasaksihan na galing po sa kanila. And these recommendations for investigations have remained what they are so far. Rekomendasyon pa rin at mga orders for submissions of counter affidavits that are being refused acceptance. Parang ginagamit lang mga legal tactics para mapatagal na makatakas ang mga nararapat na patawag na. Panay tayo issue ng subpoena, ngunit dahil ito hindi tinatanggap, nananatiling at large pa rin yung mga dapat ipatawag. Samantalang napakarami ng mga overseas Filipinos na namamataan na yung mga tao, nalalaman, tinuturo sa atin kung saan namamalagi ang mga dapat pauwiin, pero wala pa rin tayong ginagawa. Alam nila kung saan yung hotel na namamalagi. Sabi nila, Centro Canalejas de Madrid. Pero hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin natin napapauwi yung mga taong yun. While we understand the constitutional protection of being innocent until proven guilty beyond absolute doubt, the people demand for accountability. This call for accountability is not a mere public sentiment that we as leaders just acknowledge. It is a challenge and duty embodied in the Constitution's Article 11 in all its 18 sections. Public office is a public trust. Public officers and employees must at all times be accountable to the people, serve them with utmost responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency, act with patriotism and justice, and lead modest lives. Ilang beses na po paulit-ulit na nababanggit ang mga pangalan sa nakaraang 3 buwan. Paulit-ulit na rin na sumisigaw ang mga tao, kailan meron makukulong? Kailan mananagot ang mga salarin na ito? We thank the ICI for all their service since their establishment in September. However, it has to be asked, pag natapos na ang mga rekomendasyon ng ICI, ano po ang mangyayari sa komisyon na yan? Ito po ba'y mabubuwag na pagkatapos ng mga rekomendasyon? At ano po ang recourse ng komisyon na ito now that some personalities publicly called out for involvement have merely left the country and refused to cooperate? Panay ang send natin ng subpina sa bahay. Alam naman natin na iniiwasan yung subpina. At alam na natin, natunto na natin kung nasan siya ngayon. Ano pa ang mga susunod na hakbang na dapat nating tahakin? Antayin na lang ba natin sila? At wala tayong gagawin. Continuity and reliability as well as the power to enforce compliance with the legal procedure are just some of the many needs House Bill number 4453 seeks to address in the institutional fight against infrastructure corruption. We have to beat the allegations that the responsibility for justice has befallen upon the will of some people instead of emanating from the people. Ibalik natin sa tao ang kapangyarihan ng hustisya at integridad. Sabi nila, baka naman nawe-weaponize lang itong komisyon nito para habulin ng mga kalaban. Yung mga investigasyon napupunta raw sa Davao, wala naman flood control doon. Samantalang may mga flood control project sa Bicol, may mga ghost project na Coliseum sa Bicol at sa Iloilo. Bakit hindi yun ang iniimbestigahan? Balik po natin sa tao ang kapangyarihan ng hustisya at integridad. Again, we thank the Committee on Reorganization under the leadership of Congressman Plato for heeding our call and scheduling our House bills as soon as it did. Thank you as well to our resource persons. We hope to be productive in our meeting today. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Marcolita.
Mr. Chair.
Can I recognize pong San Fernando?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I be allowed to deliver my sponsorship remarks? Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mga kasama, sa ating mga panauhin sa Committee on Reorganization, 106 days na po ang nakalipas. Binibilang ko, Mr. Chair. 106 days na po ang nakalipas mula nang nagsona ang Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. 84 days mula ng unang Blue Ribbon hearing. At 61 days mula nang nabuo ang Independent Commission for Infrastructure. Talagpas 3 buwan na lumipas, wala pa rin nakukulong. Wala pa rin napapanagot. Totoo po, Mr. Chair, na hindi dapat madaliin ang mga proseso. Dapat matiyak na matibay at walang lusot ang sino mang masasampahan ng kaso patungkol sa flood control scandal. Pero hindi rin dapat ito maging dahilan para maging napakakupad ng paggulong ng hustisya at halos wala nang mapanagot sa greatest corruption scandal in recent history. Mr. Chair, mga kasama, sa nagdaang bagyong Tino at Uwan, 219 po ang naitalang namatay. 6.5 million ang bilang ng mga apektadong Pilipino at nasa 337 million pesos ang halaga ng pinsala sa kabuhayan at infrastruktura. Nakakapagod man po itanong, pero ilan pa ba ang dapat mamatay? Ilang bahay pang dapat malubog? Ilang sakahan pa ang dapat na masira para makuha ng mga manggagawa at ordinaryong Pilipino ang hustisya? Sa totoo lang, hindi naman po dapat tayo pumili kung dapat bang bilisan o matiyak na may masasampahan ng kaso at makukulong. Dapat pagsamahin po yun. Dapat mabilis at tiyak na may gugulong na ulo kahit sino pa yan. Ang sitwasyon po ngayon ay hindi lang tumatawag sa simpleng hiya o konsensya. Ang kailangan po natin dito, pananagutan. At mangyayari ang pananagutan kapag binigay natin ang lahat ng kapangyarihang kailangan ng Independent Commission for Infrastructure. Mula ho sa pagiging inutil ng ICI, patayuin natin ang ICI sa kanyang mga paa. Mula sa kawalang kapangyarihan, bigyan nating pangil ang ICI. Kaya po ang aming panawagan, isabatas sa pinakamabilis at pinaka-epektibong paraan ang House Bill number 4453. Let us provide the Independent Commission for Infrastructure all the legal arsenal it needs para po mahabol at mapanagot ang lahat ng sangkot dito sa flood control anomaly. Yun lang po, maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman San Fernando. Any other author? Thank you for all the authors of House Bill 4453 for your insightful perspective on the bill. And I recognize Congressman Toby Chanco for his controversial speech regarding House Bill number 5699. Congressman Chanco, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I joined the explanatory messages and the manifestations of all our colleagues who have previously spoken regarding their bill. No, I filed this bill after observing the ICI and after being invited there twice. No, so doon sa pag-imbita po sa akin, nakita ko po yung mga kailangan lang po there. At meron din ako nakitang mga kailangan idagdag doon sa panood ko ng unang hearing nila doon sa Senado. At yan po yung dinagdag natin. No? Unang-una dito, yung tatlong miyembro, instead na tatlo, pinadagdagan po natin ng dalawa pa, yung representative ng academe at representative ng NGO. What I forgot to indicate in my bill, which I hope the chairman and our colleagues will consider, is yung 3 present members, the chairman, who is former Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Andres Reyes, former DPWH Secretary Babe Singson, and country managing partner of SGV, Ma'am Rosana Fajardo. We have a holdover capacity, no? Kasi nasimulan na nila yung investigasyon. So sana naman, pag gumawa tayo ng bill, hindi ko ito nasama dito, na silang tatlo ay may holdover capacity. At dadagdag na lang dito is yung representative ng academe at saka representative ng NGO. No? Nakita rin natin na minsan, tulad na nabanggit ng ating mga kasamahan, binabaliwala po yung sabpina ng ICI. Kaya minumukahi po natin na bigyan sila ng power of direct or indirect contempt. No? Nakita rin natin na yung ibang mga gusto nilang imbestigahan ay lumisan at umalis sa ating bansa. So binigyan natin sila, minumukahi natin na bigyan sila ng kapangyarihan na mag-file ng hold departure order. No? At syempre, nakita rin natin na yung iba ay inilalabas yung kanilang mga assets. So binibigyan natin sila ng kapangyarihan to sequester and to attach monies and properties. No? At ito po, liliwanagin ko po, ito po ay hindi duplication ng trabaho ng Ombudsman o DOJ, kung hindi, tulong sa kanilang kapangyarihan. Noong pong hearing ng Senate, nakita ko rin po na humihiling sila ng exemption from criminal and civil liability. So ito po ay idinagdag natin sa minumungkahi po nating batas. No? So yun lang po, Mr. Chairman. So sana po itong mga batas na ito ay mapasa sa lalong madaling panahon dahil tulad po ng sinasabi po ng ating mga kasamahan dito, medyo naiinip na po yung ating mga kababayan at kahit po magsumikap yung ICI, sila po ay nahahadlangan doon sa kakulangan ng kanilang powers. So pag binigyan po natin sila ng mas maraming powers, inaasahan po natin na mas mapapabilis yung kanilang investigasyon. Yun lang po, Mr. Chairman, colleagues, maraming salamat.
Thank you, Congressman Toby Chanco, author of House Bill number 5699, for your insight and initiative in establishing the Independent Commission against infrastructure corruption. Now let us hear the insights and comments from our esteemed resource persons. May I call Executive Director of ICI, Attorney Brian Saka.
Good afternoon, Chair.
Afternoon.
With your permission. The Independent Commission for Infrastructure, or ICI, extends its sincere gratitude to the Chairperson of the Committee on Government Reorganization, Honorable Salvador Plato, and to the members of the committee. We are grateful for the opportunity to share our insights and perspectives on House Bills 4453 and 5699. At only 57 days old, the Commission is still a young institution when it started from scratch, one that is faced with the daunting task of validating close to 238,000 infrastructure projects. In a time of deep public distrust, much is expected from a commission tasked with investigating projects which have drained billions in public funds and exposed systemic weakness in our government. We believe that given the gravity of this undertaking, the proposed investigative body tasked to examine these projects must be vested with expanded powers, so it can bring those responsible for the anomalous flood control projects to justice with swiftness and certainty that the Filipino people rightfully demand. The Commission therefore supports the intent of both House bills to strengthen the proposed body, particularly through provisions granting the power to cite persons in contempt, issue whole departure orders, recover and sequester assets, prohibit restraining orders, and exempt the proposed Commission and its members from liability in the performance of their duties. The Commission also takes this opportunity to recommend additional powers that could further enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of the proposed Commission. These additional powers are discussed in the position paper submitted by the ICI to the Honorable Committee. Our shared goal is clear: to ensure that the proposed Commission is fully empowered to deliver its mandate and ultimately to recover what was taken from the Filipino people. Maraming salamat.
Mr. Chair, just a query, please. How many of the relevant agencies have in fact submitted their respective position papers? Because as of, I think, 2 hours ago, only 2 were provided us. These are PILG and AMLAC. So I was actually looking forward to the position paper from ICI, especially from ICI, and also from DOJ, because I have certain legal questions that wish to clarify from both agencies. So I really want to see already the position papers of both agencies. Especially, I'm curious about the mention of additional powers being recommended, and where we appreciate the fact that generally the ICI supports both bills, and insofar as certain powers are being granted to this independent commission. But I'm curious about the additional powers that they wish to propose, because yan po ang pinaka-importante. Ano pa ho ba yung kulang sa dalawang bills na pwede nating i-consider para mas lalong maging malakas, effective at independent itong ating ICAIC. Maraming salamat po. So do we have the list of those?
Honorable Chair, Honorable
Salamat
Dilima,
po.
we just received 4 from DILG and AMLA, and from ICI they just received today, and COA, and we just received today.
Wala pa pong DOJ.
Wala pa po, ma'am. Wala pa po.
Mr. Chair,
Which one i-receive?
may we just request the representative of the ICI, Attorney Brian Osaka, to discuss their recommendations regarding the additional powers that they would 1 be included in the proposed bill.
Saka, please.
With the permission of the chair, may I go over the submission
Okay.
of the ICI? With regard to, first, on the composition of the commission, proposed commission, we just added, with regard to the chairperson, that it should not be just limited to retired justice of the Supreme Court or the Sandigan Bayan, but at the same time, we also would recommend retired justices from the Court of Appeals and Court of Tax Appeals, considering that these retired justices would have sufficient experience and knowledge with regard to court proceedings. We also added in paragraph number 2, with regard to the licensed civil engineer, we added architect just so as to expand the choice for the commission. As far as number 4 is concerned, we also added that from the academe, an extensive background should also, an individual who has extensive background in law can be considered, considering that based on our experience, it is very valuable that a member of the commission, or at least most of them, would have a background in law. Now, number 5, a representative from the reputable NGO. We just added that which has the primary purpose and our expertise on disaster risk and management. All right. We would just like to highlight the need for preliminary measures on asset preservation, wherein we stated in our recommendation that the Commission observes that House Bill number 5699 provides the ICAIC with the power of recovering and sequestering assets accumulated by persons involved in the flood control. We believe that this authority in power is very, very important. Now, lastly, exemption from liability. The Commission observes that House Bill number 5699 provides for an exemption clause, and this is indeed very important too, considering that in fact we parrot, and we also would recommend Section 5, wherein it says that exemption from criminal and civil liability, that no criminal and civil action shall lie against the Commission or any member thereof for anything done or omitted in the discharge of the task contemplated to this Act. We also would like to add a prohibition against restraining orders and injunctions, similar to Section 4 of RA number 8975, wherein it should state that no court except the Supreme Court shall issue any temporary restraining order, preliminary injunction, or preliminary mandatory injunction against the Commission, its members, and the Secretariat with respect to any matter or act with the Commission's mandate, including the conduct of any hearing or proceedings, the pursuit of investigation, and the filing and handling of criminal administrative cases. Also, had to, in a way, recommend a slight modification on the access to information. We also believe that this is one of the things that would make the task more efficient and will be able to deliver the mandate faster. No? So, we would like to add that the ICAIC shall have complete access to information from government agencies, local government units, and government-owned and controlled corporations, such as, but not limited to, the Anti-Money Laundering Council, Bureau of Internal Revenue, Bureau of Customs, Securities and Exchange Commission, Land Registration Authority, and the Land Transportation Office in the pursuit of its mandate. The Commission would also like to add the power to issue closure or revocation. The Commission respectfully recommends that the ICAIC be granted the power to issue closure or revocation of registration of establishments which are found to be responsible for anomalous infrastructure projects. The Commission would also like to humbly suggest that one of the powers of the ICAIC include the power to directly recommend the Philippine Regulatory Commission the automatic cancellation of professional licenses of professionals found to be responsible in the implementation of the anomalous flood control projects or other infrastructure projects. Now, as far as the transitory clause is concerned, we would like to ask the committee that to please include this. No? The Commission highly recommends the adoption of a transitory clause which would transition the current ICI into the establishment of the new ICAIC. This clause would ensure the continuity of the investigatory work of the Commission and provide security of tenure to its existing employees who will be absorbed by the newly created ICAIC. This is similar to Section 35 of RA number 11966, which is an act providing for the Public-Private Partnership Code of the Philippines. Basically, Your Honors, this is the recommendation or the position of the ICI. Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you,
Chair,
Director.
may I be allowed to ask clarificatory questions on the points presented
Okay,
by
ma'am.
the Executive Director? Can I move at this point?
We have just received this,
Yes,
the
po,
comment,
I was actually
but we will be
referring to
furnishing
that.
you through email.
Yes. Can I ask
thank you.
clarificatory questions po
Yeah.
dun sa kanyang mga
Okay, ma'am.
nasabi?
Really
Because
recommend.
I cursorily went over already the position paper or the comments of the ICI. And these are very good comments and very good additional recommendations, especially on the powers of the ICI. As to the composition, so ICI is in fact amenable to the 5 members composition. As proposed by both bills, meron lang kayong konting pinapadagdag. For example, yung sa chair nga po, hindi lang limited to retired justice of the Supreme Court or the Sandigan Bayan, kundi sa CTA din, saka sa Court of Appeals, and then yung sa civil engineer, architect, and then yung representative in the academe. So aside from extensive background in public finance, economics, you proposed law, extensive background in law, and yung reputable NGO primary purpose expertise in disaster risk and management. So, ito naman pong sa coverage scope and jurisdiction, and I think this is a good one. Kasi pareho po sa parehong bills natin ay investigatory nga po and would recommend the filing of both administrative and criminal cases. Although in the 5569, House Bill 5569, meron pa nga ho doon about directly instituting complaints. Now, it's good that ICI proposed this volatility or this proviso, provided, however, that nothing in this law shall be construed as curtailing or diminishing the investigatory, prosecutorial, or disciplinary powers vested by the Constitution and the Office of the Ombudsman, the Commission on Audit, or the Civil Service Commission. Maganda talagang linawin po natin because these are constitutional bodies created by the Constitution. They have their respective mandates. I don't think Congress can just deprive them of their respective mandates. So mas magandang malinaw po ito na it is not being misconstrued that the grant of these powers to the ICAIC is construed or will be misconstrued as an abdication of the powers of these constitutional bodies. Now, of course, contempt, maganda po ito. I think acceptable ito sa lahat. And even doon sa Senate bill, ito po talaga ang kulang ng ICI. Now, you mentioned about the whole departure order. And I'm particularly delighted of the fact that it seems that the ICI is open to that idea na pwede bigyan ng power to issue HDO itong ating proposed ICA-IC in spite of the Supreme Court decision dun sa Genuino, the consolidated cases of Genuino versus De Lima and Arroyo versus De Lima. And I'm very much familiar, of course, with that ruling because I happen to be the respondent there. And yes, the ruling there is that unconstitutional yung Department Circular 41. By the way, that was not my circular. It was there already when I assumed office. Pero ginamit ko yon because it was an existing tool which enjoys the presumption of constitutionality. So this representation as then Secretary of Justice issued the watch list order against, in separate cases, in separate instances, against Genuino and also against the former president, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. But it was declared unconstitutional because it infringes on their constitutional right to travel. Dahil nga malinaw naman talaga sa constitution natin na pwede lang kapag national security, public health, and public safety. But upon rereading of that decision, and I think yan din ang alam po ng ICI, that's why I recommend nyo, na pwede talaga na na i-grant natin ng power to issue HDO ang ICA-IC, pero dapat malinaw lang that it would fall within the purview of those constitutional limitations. Meaning, kailangan ma-justify na it falls within those three, meaning national security, public health, and public safety. Siguro po, we can very much argue that itong usapin ngayon dito sa massive corruption na ito ay merong national security aspect. Di ho ba? Kasi nga may epekto to eh. Look at all of this talks about destabilization, etc. Dahil galit na yung taong bayan. Merong mga namamantala, sasamantala dito sa usapin na ito that would impact on the security of our country and particularly the established institutions. So maganda po ito na insofar as the ICI is concerned, and that's why curious din po ako sa magiging position ng DOJ. Would they agree also that pwede nating bigyan ng power to issue HDO? But I'm glad that the ICI is open to that idea of granting HDO powers to the ICA-IC. And syempre, yung asset preservation, nandun po yun sa 5699, and it's good that it is being supported by ICI. Of course, the exemption from criminal and civil liability, the prohibition against restraining orders and injunctions, pareho po yan dun sa bills namin. Wala ho dapat ibang korte nang makapag-issue ng restraining order against the ICA-IC except the Supreme Court. Kasi can you imagine the effect on the pending investigations if anyone can just secure TRO from any court? So maganda po ito na mga suggestion, yung mga comments nyo, and also your other suggestions, including the power to issue closure or revocation of registration of establishments which are found to be responsible for anomalous infrastructure projects. Pero meron naman siguro kailangan din siguro na there should be some kind of a summary proceedings before we can order closure. And then the transitory clause. You are recommending, the ICI is recommending that there should be injected a transitory clause which would transition the current ICI into the establishment of the new ICA-IC para merong continuity. Hindi pwedeng masayang lang yung nagiging trabaho ngayon ng ICI. So the next question there is about the membership or the composition of the ICA-IC. Kasi meron na ngang 3 members, current members of the ICI. Now, kung mag-hold over capacity sila, in transition sila, the 3 current members now, the distinguished members of the ICI, can Congress now consider absorbing them or retaining them as members of the new ICAIC kung maisabatas na po itong bills na ito? So that should be subject, of course, to discussion and, of course, the power to appoint the members of the ICAIC would remain to be a presidential prerogative. So that's all,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chair, for now.
Honorable
Maraming
De Lima,
salamat
can
po.
we
Thank
ask
you.
a quick,
E.D. Hosaka. Thank you.
quick answer from Attorney Osaka? But before we do that, can we recognize Representative Giselo Cristel Lagman from the 1st District of Albay? Thank you, ma'am, for coming. Attorney Osaka, please. Brief reply to what Honorable De Lima has just said.
I think the Honorable Congresswoman De Lima is asking with regard to transitory clause, the transitory clause. I think that was a comment only. Am I supposed to address I think the...
Thank you.
Mr. Chair. may I just
Anyway,
also-
I suggest to our members to give time for our resource persons. Can we finish the floor first
Just one question.
before we
to-
continue with the discussion?
Mr. Chair, just one question to Attorney
Okay,
Hosaka.
last.
Yes, under Section 2, under Section 3 of the proposed bill, 4453, the Commission shall exist for a period of 2 years. But according to Attorney Hosaka, they will be investigating 235,000 infrastructure projects. And sounds that he's thinking of a more permanent institution. So may you just comment on Section 3 of the proposed Bill 4453, which gives only 2 years period for the commission.
Mr. Chair,
Brief lang, Attorney Osaka.
in reply to Honorable Congressman Irisa, the 238,000 infrastructure projects was data information provided to ICI by the DPWH 10 years back. So with regard to that, right now, depending on the number of personnel or staffing that will be provided for in the proposed committee, that will depend on that of course our efficiency and in speed would be dependent on that. Nevertheless, it is quite obvious, Your Honors, that considering the magnitude of what we are facing, the 2-year period might not be sufficient.
You will need more time.
Yes, it would depend. Of course, we will defer to the wisdom of the Congress, Your Honor, with respect to that, whether or not it will be time-bound to 2 years or anyway, under Section 2, it also provides a possible extension provided for by, if it can be, it says that which shall exist for a period of 2 years unless extended by law. Then perhaps it can be revisited after 2 years if there is a need to extend the life of the commission. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. May I suggest to our members and authors to please allow the other resource persons to give your comments. But before that, can I recognize Representative Leandro Ligarda Livis from the 1st District of Batangas, and Representative Antonio Tino, ACT Teachers Party List. Now proceed to the Ombudsman, represented here by Attorney Rafanan. Attorney Rafanan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon to the chairperson and the members of the committee. With the permission of the Honorable Chair.
Pakilapit lang yung mic, please.
With the permission of the Honorable Chair, the Office of the Ombudsman extends its appreciation to the Honorable Committee for giving this opportunity to ventilate on certain relevant matters, and as we look forward to future collaboration with the intended passage of the bill. The Honorable Chair, the office would like to manifest that it welcomes this initiative or mechanism in assisting or helping the Office of the Ombudsman in going about the investigation and prosecution of this infrastructure corruption of this magnitude and widespread nature. In view of the limited resource personnel and of the Office of the Ombudsman, this ICAIC would be a welcome development in terms of strengthening the existing mechanism and allowing the full swing investigation of the pending subject cases. There are only as of two points, Mr. Chair. One point is the granting the power of the Commission the authority to directly file a complaint. The Office of the Ombudsman recommends that if the Commission finds it complete in terms of the substantial elements and other requirements of a complaint, the Commission may as well be empowered in filing, in directly filing an administrative complaint or a criminal complaint or even a civil forfeiture complaint for purposes of administrative adjudication, preliminary investigation, or preliminary examination akin to preliminary investigation, respectively. As it is, Mr. Chair, I think the existing commission has no explicit authority, and it can only recommend to the Office of the Ombudsman the conduct of prosecution or administrative adjudication. This will help in speedily processing the cases or matters subject of the investigation if the Commission is empowered as well to draft the complaint or to directly file and not just recommend to the Office of the Ombudsman. If the report or the recommendation is brought to the Office of the Ombudsman, the process is that the Office of the Ombudsman would refer the case again to fact-finding investigation and for the formal drafting of a complaint to be signed by the nominal complainant, a field investigator. If an investigator under the commission would be empowered in the same resolution report or authorized to represent the commission as a nominal complainant, then that investigator would be authorized to sign the complaint as nominal complainant, and then it would be upon evaluation of the office, and if it sees that it is complete in form and substance, it will go directly to preliminary investigation or administrative adjudication or for future proceedings as the case may be, Your Honor. This would help in speedily move forward those cases, Your Honor. And I think this direct filing is mentioned in House Bill HB 5699, and it might be good to harmonize the two provisions, Your Honor. The second point, Your Honor, is the matter of scope and coverage. The Honorable Representative De Lima recognized a while ago the constitutional mandate of the constitutional agencies such as the Office of the Ombudsman. The straightforward scope and coverage found under HB 5699 is well taken, Your Honors. to HB 4453, there appears to be a pulatilla on matters already pending investigation by other investigative and prosecutorial agencies. And the Office of the Ombudsman respectfully manifests that this expanded scope or coverage on such detail might pose
Attorney Rapanan,
operational-
please, pakilapit lang yung mic, hindi namin marinig dito, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The inclusion of a referral clause, Your Honor, under the second paragraph of Section 6 HB 4453 might pose operational challenges and create further delay in terms of the cases already being investigated by the Office of the Ombudsman if this pending matter would still be referred to the ICA-IC. It is in a scenario of parallel investigation and complementarity of fact-finding where it is best seen to effectively aid in moving the cases forward. After all, the result of the ICA-IC investigation would eventually be referred to the Office of the Ombudsman for further administrative adjudication and preliminary investigation. The Ombudsman does not support such clause insofar as it creates another layer of those cases already being handled by the Office of the Ombudsman. And this might also raise confidentiality concerns when it comes to results of pending investigation that the Office of the Ombudsman already has in its possession, and that the ICAC may want to cover or be included in its investigation, which is public in nature. And as we know, the nature of a fact-finding investigation is it is confidential, and it might unduly hamper the availability of documentary evidence and the other witnesses that the Office of the Ombudsman still seeks to reach out or to subpoena, Your Honors. And under Section 15A of RA 6770, it is well to note that the Ombudsman has primary jurisdiction over cases cognizable by the Sandigan Bayan, and in the exercise of his primary jurisdiction, it may take over at any stage from any investigatory agency of government the investigation of such cases. So it might be well to note, Your Honor, the coordination, the level of coordination and technical assistance between these two commissions. These considerations, Your Honor, might be submitted to the Honorable Commission, Your Honor. Mr. Chair, thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney Rapanan. Can you submit your position paper because we're planning to consolidate these two bills tomorrow? Can you submit that tomorrow? Do you have your position paper
We'll
with you now?
undertake, Your Honor, to submit the signed position paper by the Ombudsman as soon as possible, Your Honor.
Thank you. But before we proceed, we'd like to recognize Congressman Jesus Manuel Bong Sontay from the 4th District of Quezon City. Congressman, thank you for coming.
Mr.
Can I
Chair.
ask Congressman Lagman, as one of the authors, do you have any? Thank you. Now proceed to OMELEC. We have the chairman here, Chairman Garcia, please. Yeah, proceed
Thank you very
for
much,
your
Mr.
position
Chair,
paper.
Your Honors. The COMELEC is fully supportive of the creation of the ICA-IC as a mechanism to enhance transparency and accountability in public infrastructure spending. We propose clarificatory language in House Bill number 4453 and House Bill 5699 that limits COMELEC's involvement to election-related offenses and maintains its exclusive jurisdiction under the Constitution and the Omnibus Election Code. We recommend a memorandum of understanding between the COMELEC and ICA-IC for information sharing and case referral without surrender of authority to comply with the prevailing privacy laws and limitations on data sharing. We suggest respectfully that the term designate in Section 10 of House Bill 4453 be amended to may designate subject to COMELEC approval to respect agency's discretion and resource limitation. As far as we are concerned, we are fully supportive, Mr. Chair, so long as this will not infringe on constitutionally guaranteed power of a constitutionally created agency such as the Commission on Election. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, Your Honors.
Thank you, Chairman George Garcia, for that recommendation.
Mr. Chair,
May I request
Mr. Chair.
submit your position paper, Chairman George?
It's the parliamentary
Congressman,
inquiry,
Mark,
Mr. Chair.
you recognize.
Opo, since it's the Office of the President who created the ICI, at alam na po natin na ang pagbalangkas ng batas ay medyo matagal. Yung gestation period po ng pagpasa ng batas ay matagal. Just thinking out loud, Mr. Chair, naisip ko, ito pong mga proposed additional powers ng ICI na galing po kay Director Hosaka ay magaganda po. Maaari po ba natin i-augment yung power ng ICI habang nagbabalangkas tayo ng batas? I-augment ang powers ng ICI through another EO habang iniintay natin itong pagpasa ng batas na ito, itong ICAIC. Naisip ko lang po, baka kung magtatagal ang paggawa ng batas na to, baka pwede naman susugan through another EO para palakasin ang kapangyarihan ng existing ICI. Yun lamang po, Mr. Chair.
Quick reply, please, Attorney Saka. Just quick reply.
Your Honor, it is up to the Office of the President if and when it is actually legally possible to augment the powers of the ICI, in particular to dovetail with what we have suggested, because in our suggestion, that is a legislative policy determination. But I also would like to state that based on a comment by a former retired Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, I think it was former Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpo, wherein he stated in his interview that the powers of the ICI is the maximum powers or the best, in a way, yung pinakasagad na po na authority that can be granted through an executive order. But nevertheless, considering the recommendation of Representative Marcoleta, then perhaps that's a matter that has to be determined if it's legally allowable by the Office of the President or by the Executive. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Congressman Enrique.
yeah, that's why we are enacting a proposal, because the Office of the President cannot grant coercive powers to the ICI. This is the very reason why we are actually enacting a law. And to abbreviate the proceedings, may I suggest, if we just consider the statements of the representatives from the different departments as their official position paper, as their official position in the discussion of this ICIAI. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Enrique. Sunod po naman ay sa Anti-Money Laundering Council. We have Attorney Teo here, Deputy Director. You are recognized. Any representative from AMLA? state your name and position, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. I'm Deputy Director Romel Trio of the Anti-Money Laundering Council Secretariat. And Mr. Chair, as earlier mentioned by the Honorable Congresswoman De Lima, we already submitted, or the AMLC Secretariat earlier submitted its position on the proposed bills on ICI. And it is, as a matter of fact, in full support of the enactment of these bills into law. We only have 4 comments, Your Honors, and the first one refers to Section 5(2) of House Bill number 4453, insofar as it authorizes the or empowers the ICI in securing information or documents from other agencies of the government. So our recommendation, Your Honor, is the inclusion of a proviso in Section 5(2) of the House Bill that would make the that bill in harmony with the relevant provision of Republic Act 9160, also known as the Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2001. It's actually, Your Honor, expressed in the letter that we submitted to the Honorable Committee last week. The second one, Your Honor, is the suggestion about the empowerment of the ICAIC to conduct inquiry into deposits or investments covered by laws on secrecy on deposits and investment, similar, Your Honor, to the power or authority of the AMLC to conduct inquiry into these deposits and investments. The third one, Your Honor, is the exclusion of the AMLC from the agencies mandated to be designated personnel of the Commission, Your Honor. And our suggestion, Your Honor, is premised on the operational independence required by the standard promulgated by the Financial Action Task Force on Anti-Money Laundering in countering the financing of terrorism. And the last one, Your Honor, is the inclusion of a phrase in Section 11 of House Bill number 4453 that would make the involvement of agencies in the performance of the Commission's mandate to be consistent with existing laws. So what we propose, Your Honor, is the inclusion of a phrase consistent with existing laws in Section 11 of House Bill 4453. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Director Teo. We will consider that in the Committee on Government Reorganization. Next is from the Department of Interior Local Government, represented here by Attorney Carmela Velasper.
Good afternoon,
Velasper, you are
everyone.
recognized.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Attorney Carmela Villasfer from the Legal Services of the DILG. First and foremost, the Department of the Interior and Local Government fully supports the intent of the House bills to transform the existing ad hoc independent commission for infrastructure into a permanent, independent, and empowered anti-corruption body dedicated to investigating, preventing, and addressing systemic corruption in infrastructure sector. The DILG commends the authors and sponsors of the House bills numbers 4453 and 5699 for their leadership in advancing this vital anti-corruption reform. The proposed creation of an independent commission against infrastructure corruption represents a significant step toward institutionalizing integrity and rebuilding public trust in the infrastructure sector. The DILG only has a few comments, everyone. First is, for the institutional integrity and independence, the DILG fully supports the creation of a body that operates independently yet collaboratively with existing anti-graft and law enforcement agencies. However, any grant of investigative, contempt, or preventive suspension powers must be exercised within clear procedural safeguards to protect the rights of individuals and ensure compliance with established rules of laws. As the primary national government agency supervising the local government units, the DILG highlights the need for harmonized procedures and protocols whenever investigations involve local officials or projects implemented at the local level. This will prevent disruption of local services and ensure administrative continuity while upholding integrity in governments. The DILG supports measures that promote transparency, reporting, and citizen participation in monitoring infrastructure projects. The involvement of civil society organizations, professional associations, and local communities can help strengthen accountability and foster shared ownership of anti-corruption initiatives. The department respectfully conveys its general message of support for the passage of a harmonized version of the measure, one that ensures strong investigatory powers, transparent operations, and full respect for due process and local autonomy. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Villasper, for your support. We now proceed to BIR, represented by Attorney Tibayan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, to our honorable lawmakers and resource speakers. The Bureau of Internal Revenue fully supports the proposed bills. I just have one comment. If the committee would consider the Bureau of Internal Revenue to be part of the agencies to support this proposed commission, I respectfully suggest the addition of a provision whereby the ICAIC will be, or any request for information made by the ICAIC will be exempt from Section 270 of the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997 as amended. Section 270 of the tax code pertains to the non-divulgence of information, whereby revenue personnel may be charged by fine or imprisonment if they violate this provision. Now, based on my experience or with my correspondence with other government agencies and other government bodies, this provision has been a cause for difficulty in requesting for information regarding taxpayers, most particularly information in their tax returns and other filings. So an exemption would help the body request information from us. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mayroon na ba kayong position paper submitted?
We will submit, Mr. Chair, this week.
Baka pwede rin ngayon, baka bukas, kasi hanggang bukas. Can we expect that tomorrow, please?
Sige, we will try that po, Mr. Chair. Tomorrow.
Thank you. We now proceed to COA, then Civil Service Commission, and Security Exchange Commission.
Good afternoon. The Commission on Audit supports the creation of an independent commission against infrastructure corruption. We believe that granting a body full of authority to investigate and prosecute corruption in infrastructure projects is vital for ensuring accountability. And the Commission has already submitted its position paper in relation to the proposed
Sunico.
House bills, Your Honor.
Director Sunico, thank you. Next is the Civil Service Commission, represented here by Attorney Poronda.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Good afternoon to the members of this honorable committee. The Civil Service Commission is still in the process of finalizing our comments, but we will be submitting them as soon as they are ready po. But preliminarily, the CSC supports the fact that the ICA-IC should have a sufficient personnel complement in order for it to be able to carry out its mandate. And we have also read some provisions, particularly in House Bill 4453, Section 10. We would like to suggest that the use of the term designate be revisited, because what may have been referred to under this section is the personnel movement of detail, because they have actually different ramifications and consequences. We do agree that the ICAC may undertake personal movements of secondment and hiring of contractual workers to beef up their staff complement po. We also suggest that there will be timelines in the conduct of the investigations, considering the limited time span of the independent committee. The Civil Service Commission also hears and decides administrative cases, and it would be facilitative if the results of the investigations of the committee, when submitted to us, there would be complaints already, and that there will be nominal complainants already. So, because the Civil Service Commission has no fact-finding office, unlike the Office of the Ombudsman po. We also support the fact that the independent commission should have extensive powers. And may I just mention that in similar independent commissions, for example, in Hong Kong, sufficient powers are really given to these independent commissions, including the power of surveillance and to intercept, let me check, telecommunications. They can also examine bank documents po. That would be all for the CSC in the meantime, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Poronda. Next is from the Security Exchange Commission, represented by Attorney Goson. Attorney Goson, please.
Attorney Santiago, Mr. Chair.
Attorney
Good
Santiago.
afternoon. Yes, Mr. Chair, good afternoon. On behalf of Chairperson Francis Lim, we would like to thank the committee for inviting the Securities and Exchange Commission. We fully support the overall objective of the bill in addressing the persistent reports of corruption in the infrastructure projects of our country. Preliminarily, we would like to manifest that the SEC is already in close coordination with the ICC with regard to the submission of the corporate records of corporations upon the requests of ICI. And we are also attending the coordination meetings with other relevant government agencies with the ICI. As regards the proposed legislative measures, We would like to manifest that we will be submitting our position paper to formalize the Commission's comments on the proposed legislative measures as soon as it is signed by our principals. Nevertheless, we stand ready to provide the committee with the necessary assistance. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Santiago. Next is from DPWH, represented here by Yusek Torgano, Undersecretary for Legal Services. Yusek Torgano, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Honorable Chair, and to the honorable members of this committee. We thank you, sir, for inviting us to this deliberation of House Bills 4453 and 5699. Sir, on behalf of the department and the secretary, we would like to express our full support to these legislative measures, sir, as we believe that these measures is a timely initiative to restore public confidence, to strengthen oversight, and to ensure that every peso allocated shall be used for its intended purpose. Sir, we commit to submit our position paper, the signed position paper of the Secretary, as soon as possible, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Baka po pwede bukas sana. Because we are planning to consolidate all of this and prepare draft for a substitute bill. Next is Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board, represented here by the Acting Executive Director, Engineer Ritome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. In behalf of the Office of the Executive Director of the Philippine Contractors Board, we are fully support the creation of this Independent Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption Bill. Thank you.
Salamat. Susunod po yung Government Procurement Policy Board, represented here by Mr. Jemar Baring. Mr. Baring, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. As for our initial comment, we support the passage of the proposed House Bill seek to establish the Independent Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption. We are one with this honorable committee, the government and the public in fight against corruption. With the recent passage of RA 12009 or the new Government Procurement Act and subsequent issuance of its implementing rules and regulations, several anti-corruptive measures have been institutionalized. However, the role of the GPPB under this law is limited only in setting strategic direction and making policy decisions regarding all matters affecting public procurement. In this regard, for Section 5, Subparagraph 9 of House Bill number 4453, we respectfully recommend excluding the GPPB from the agencies that the Commission will refer their verified complaints and reports for purposes of administrative sanctions, as the GPPB doesn't have adjudicatory, investigative, and enforcement powers. That's all, Mr. Chair. We are committed to submit our signed position paper as soon as possible. Thank you.
Salamat. Susunod po yung Philippine Institute of Certified Accountants. We have here the National President, Mr. Sir Victores.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for inviting the Institute to be a resource person to this hearing. In principle, the PICPA, Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountants, and I would say representing the profession in general, is fully supportive of initiatives to curb and address corruption issues in our country. We understand that we have some of our members who have been named or implicated in the ongoing investigations, and we as an institute are taking our steps in accordance with our own rules and regulations on how to address or to penalize or how to penalize our members who may have been remiss in upholding the sanctity of our oath. Suffice it to say, Mr. Chairman, that the Institute and the profession in general are ready to support whatever initiatives that the committee will eventually undertake. And given the several thousand CPAs that we have all over the country, I'm sure we can provide the necessary armies of accountants to assist the commission in uncovering a lot of the problems in these projects. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, honorable members. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. San Victores. Salamat po. Last but not least, sa DBM, representing Secretary Pangandaman, Attorney Baraan, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, honorable members of this committee, and to our fellow public servants. First of all po, we fully support the intention of the bills, and we would like to initially manifest the following, and we will be submitting our position papers as soon as possible. So first, we would like to recommend that the proposed independent commission be classified as an other executive office, which is also the current classification of the ICI. And then we also concur with the transitory provision that was proposed by the ICI po, to ensure that there will be transfer from ICI to IPC. And then for the organization provision, we would like to note that the same shall be subject to the review and evaluation of the DBM to ensure its compliance with existing compensation and other organization laws, rules, and regulations. And as to the appropriations provision, we note that the same be under the GAA, and for the initial funding requirements po, the same shall be sourced from the available appropriations under the GAA. We kindly note that for the ICI, its maintenance and other operating expenses shall be charged, and capital outlays shall be charged against the contingent fund, while those for personal services are sourced from miscellaneous personnel and benefits fund. So, and we also, in addition to the comments of the COMELEC, we also note that there should be no duplication of functions among the agencies concerned po, Mr. Chair. That is all po. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we, any further inquiry from our
Attorney, just a question.
authors and members?
The question is directed to you, Attorney Tricia. When you say the ICAIC should be an executive office, do you mean it should be under the supervision of the Office of the President or any executive or any agency or department?
Good morning again, Mr. Chair. It would be an independent commission po, but it will only be classified as other executive office po.
Just a follow-up question. Wala na ho bang ibang classification yan? Except as other executive office? Because, we're trying to create here what is to be perceived or should be perceived as an independent office. Independent from the President, the Office of the President. Kaya nga, tinutulak namin ito, not to be a presidential creation. So kung dun pa lang sa classification niya, executive office na uli, will that be, baka naman meron pa. Can you try to also look into your, whatever is that? I mean, yung mga classification of certain offices. Of course, this is not a constitutional office. This is not a legislative office or a judicial office. Baka naman there's another more fitting description other than other executive office. Can you help us out?
Noted po, Mr. Chair, we will double check po.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Okay, we'll get first,
Meron din po.
Congressman
Meron pa po
Honorable
akong
Dilima is recognized.
additional clarificatory questions lang to AMLAC. Well, I'm pleased to learn from your statement earlier, and I think sa ano nyo, sa position paper, that you have no objection whatsoever into the ICAIC directly inquiring into bank accounts. Correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chair. Your Honor.
With or without need of assistance from AMLAC.
Yes, Your Honor.
So we confirm that. You
Yes, Your
confirm
Honor.
that.
Yes.
That is your position. Ang pinaka ano lang nyo ho dito is with respect to your own. Meron ho kayong parang qualification eh. Let me see. The AMLAC position.
The power, Your Honor, that we propose to be granted to ICAIC would be without prejudice to the authority of the AMLC to conduct bank inquiry in support of the Commission, Your Honor.
Mhm. So, ICAIC can be given the power to directly inquire into bank accounts without the need to request the assistance of the AMLAC. Yun po ang ano nyo.
That's correct, Your
So
Honor.
that is good to know. Yung kanina rin po na sinasabi nyo, and I think there's also the concern of few other agencies here, tungkol po sa Section 10 of HB 4453. And this is also the concern, I think, of COMELEC, if I'm not mistaken, and also of BIR, yung designation of agency officials and hiring of personnel. That is also the concern of Civil Service Commission. I'm not sure what is wrong with that. That we ask these various offices, the National Prosecution Service, the NBI, the PNP, the Ombudsman, the COA, the AMLAC, and the COMELEC to designate such number of lawyers, investigators, auditors, and officials as may be required by the Commission to render full-time service to the Commission. Ano po bang, what is questionable about that? Because AMLAC, in your position paper, is referring to na this would run counter to certain FATF recommendations. You are referring to FIUs being supposedly operationally independent and autonomous. And when you say FIUs, these are the financial investigation units, correct?
It's actually called, Your Honor, Financial Intelligence Unit,
Of
which is
financial
the AMLC in case of
intelligence
Philippines.
units. But the FIUs are not the only components of AMLAC, correct?
The AMLC, Your Honor, that is the FIU of the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
And our operation, Your Honor, is principally guided by the Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2001 that is essentially in turn premised upon the FATF standard on countering on anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism.
Your stated position is that the proposed mandatory designation of AMLAC personnel to the ICAIC would directly run counter to the FATF and Egmont Group requirements. Such violation may have very adverse effect to the Philippines FATF standing. Can you further elaborate kasi hindi ko po yun masyadong maintindihan. What is wrong with that? That we require that certain personnel be designated as not really the regular members, because the regular members of the ICAIC, yung 5 lang po. Di ho ba yung sinabi natin kanina? Ito ay yung parang components din na tutulong, support staff, para nakafocus sila in the meantime, during the very existence of the ICAIC. So what is wrong with that? Requiring certain personnel from AMLAC. Is that really violative of this FATF recommendations?
That's actually, Your Honor, premised on our assessment of, essentially premised on our assessment of that provision in relation to that FATF and Egmont Group standards. But, Your Honor, insofar as extending assistance or support to the ICAIC, there's no problem with that, Your Honor, for the AMLC. In fact, right now, we have been in full support, in full coordination, in full parallel case build-up activities with the ICI, Your Honor. And that matter, Your Honor, once ICAIC is created, can be fully addressed by a MOA between the two agencies, Your Honor.
Yes, although ito po kasi Section 10, ang idea namin dito is that in the meantime, during the term itself of the ICAIC, habang nandyan, at hindi pa tapos yung kanyang trabaho, either within the the 2-year term, or as may be extended if necessary, ay mag-render sana ng full-time service to the Commission itong mga representatives na ito from these bodies that I mentioned. Pero definitely, ang pinaka-idea dito is to really render assistance to assist the Commission in its very important work, di ho ba? And that is why we would ask, actually, the advice and the assistance of the Civil Service Commission. Kasi yes, this is essentially the detailing of personnel, but during the term, the lifetime of the ICAIC, full-time sila in the meantime para makafocus. I don't think there is any fundamental problem with that. That would not infringe on any constitutional provision, I think. Di ho ba? Yung sa operationalization na lang siguro, pursuant to civil service regulations. So kailangan ho ng tulong namin from the CSC. Pero gusto po sana namin ito. We will insist on this. The authors of
Can we
the,
ask
of the
Civil
bill.
Service,
Salamat
please,
po.
for comment?
Yes, Your Honor, because I think these terminologies, they have a specific technical meaning sa ora-ora. When we say designation, it is within the same agency, doing tasks that is still within the mandate of the agency. But when we say detail, this is doing tasks that is outside of the agency.
Changing the term.
Yes, ma'am.
Please suggest
Also,
to us.
Opo.
Did you include that in your, can you include that in your
We will include
position
that,
paper?
ma'am.
Pero sana po, i-submit nyo kaagad. Sabi po ni Chair, dapat po bukas na.
Sige, ma'am. Yes po. We will.
Salamat po.
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Erice.
I think we have already a lot of inputs, so may I just move that we create a technical working group to consolidate the bills and also to consolidate all the inputs made by our resource persons. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, but that is on the premise. Dapat po siguro, let's try to compel the other agencies that have not submitted yet their respective position papers to so submit ASAP either today or tomorrow para makatrabaho na po yung TWG being proposed. And I would actually second the motion of Congressman Erice. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
All input, Mr. Chair, if they will not be able to submit, maybe the Committee on Government Reorganization can use its own personnel to make a study on some questions propounded by our colleagues today.
We will just request concerned agencies to please submit your position paper to tomorrow. Because we are planning to consolidate all of this and draft a substitute bill by tomorrow for approval on Thursday for the substitute bill. Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Congressman
May I
Jokno,
have permission to propound the question to the Chair of the Commission on
you are
Elections?
recognized, Congressman Jokno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, Chair Garcia.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
I'm asking this question in connection with Section 5, Number 10 of House Bill 4453, which provides that, I quote, in cases where corruption in infrastructure projects is attended by election offenses, such as prohibited campaign donations, the Commission shall initiate complaints with the COMELEC. I recall that during the budget hearings, I had asked you a similar question about the pending cases. May I just know the status of the investigation of COMELEC on campaign donations from government contractors?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. As far as the 2022 national and local elections, the Department of Public Works and Highways, out of the 54 contractors which contributed to the different candidates in the 2022 national and local elections, the DPWH certified 27 as having contracts or existing contracts or contracts entered into after the election between the Public Works, Department of Public Works and Highways, and these contractors. And so we already issued last week a show cause order to the 27 contractors for them to explain if there is or there is no violation of Section 95C of the Omnibus Election Code. As far as the 26 contractors are concerned, since there are no contracts existing, and therefore it would appear that there was no violation of Section 95C of the Omnibus Election Code. Now, Your Honors, Mr. Chair, as far as the 2025 national and local elections, our Political Finance and Affairs Department determined 31 contractors that might have contributed to the campaign organizations of political parties or party lists and or candidates. And so we likewise sought the certification from the DPWH of these 31 possible contractors. In the event that the DPWH will issue the certification, will likewise issue the corresponding show cause orders. And after the show cause orders, Mr. Chair, Your Honors, will be issuing likewise the same show cause orders to the candidates. And then the case will be submitted for resolution of that particular department. As far as the one who admitted during the hearing of the House, that contractor, he was already required to submit the explanation, the position paper, including the candidate, the senatorial candidate, who received the 30 million donation, and therefore it is now submitted for resolution of that particular department. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chair Garcia. Thank you, Mr. Chair. No more questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Tino, you're
may
recognized.
I just make a follow-up question to the Chair of COMELEC? Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chair, Rep. Jokno was asking for an update on the investigation on illegal campaign contributions, no? And you mentioned that the DPWH has provided a list of the contractors, a list of contractors. So that seems to imply that you're looking at contractors as donors, correct? Okay.
That's right, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. However, please clarify, because Section 95, prohibited contribution, says no contribution for purposes of partisan political activity shall be made directly or indirectly by any of the following. So, yung listahan ng contractors, that seems to apply to the direct contributions by contractors. But how does the Chair or the COMELEC look at the indirect contributions? Ibig sabihin, the contributions may not have been made directly by government contractors. However, those are still prohibited. Hindi po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair, that's right. As far as the COMELEC is concerned, we saw to it first to proceed with the provision of Section 95C meaning to say we zero in on Section 95C on service contractors and/or public works contractors as provided in the law. And that is without prejudice to the COMELEC, likewise proceeding on any other donors who might have violated the other provisions of Section 95, whether directly or indirectly. So as far as the 26, for example, public works contractors, they are not yet off the hook. But what we are saying is we would like to proceed first with the confirmed 27 so that proper due process can now be afforded to them. And then afterwards, we can proceed with the rest and the others, Mr. Chair. At least we can now see that the COMELEC is proceeding with the processes and ensuring that perhaps we can determine liability, whether in accordance with the Omnibus Election Code or any other law, but more particularly under Section 95C of the Omnibus Election Code.
Well, thank you for the update and clarification, Mr. Chair. Ako naman, pinapaalala ko lang na hindi ang pinagbabawal hindi lang yung direktang contractor na nag-contribute. Syempre may mga iba mas maybe more sophisticated regarding their campaign contribution. So hindi idadaan ng contractor nung donor sa contracting entity mismo, kundi indirectly via another company, perhaps, no? Pero nandun pa rin yun. So in other words, that is the challenge that is posed to the COMELEC, is to apply the prohibition equally to direct as well as indirect contributors.
Thank you very much, Mr. We are fully aware of that.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
There is a pending motion for the creation of a technical working group. It has been moved and seconded that we create a technical working group. Any second the motion? It has been moved and seconded that we create a technical working group, and we'll be appointing a chairman. I would suggest one of the vice chair, Congressman Amante, to be the chair. He should be a member of the Bureau. Hindi po pwede yung mga authors eh. We'll just inform Congressman Amante. Anyway, he's sa plenary yata ngayon eh.
Vice Chair na lang.
I will just inform Vice Chair Ambin Amante to be the chair, and we'll be scheduling a technical working group meeting. And we'll be informing the concerned agencies to be invited. Any other motion, remarks?
I move to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. There are no further matters. The meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you. Thank you very much for.